spoken to the Fed at all about contingency plans, though, if financial stability risks flare up?
Chair Powell and I have breakfast every week, and we discuss a wide range of things. And our staffs are always in contact. We have a markets room; they have a markets room. But and specifically, did we discuss some kind of a break the glass? I think we're a long way from that.
So when was the last time you guys spoke? You had breakfast last week?
We had breakfast last week, and it was an away game. I was over at the Fed.
And no concern so far from the Fed chair on what he saw in the Treasury market?
I think we would have heard from the Fed chair. I think we heard from Governor Collins of Boston on Friday.
Hey, what's going on, bull runners? Welcome back to the channel. Buckle up, because today's crypto news is a wild ride you can't afford to miss. Picture this: the crypto market is up, it's down, we got red candles, we got green candles, and yet XRP's funding rates are spiking like crazy. So what's the big deal? It's a signal that something huge is brewing, and if you're not paying attention, you could miss out on the next big move. Meanwhile, Wall Street giant Charles Schwab is gearing up to launch spot Bitcoin trading by April of 2026. Yep, the big players are coming for crypto. And hold up, MetaPlanet, a Japanese firm, just dropped $28 million to push their Bitcoin holdings past $400 million. And interestingly enough, at the same exact time, we also have Michael Saylor adding to his Bitcoin stockpile. These aren't just headlines, they're clues to where the market is headed. So here's the deal. Stick with me for the next few minutes. I'm going to break it all down for you, exactly what's happening, why it matters, and how you can position yourself to ride this wave. The crypto world moves fast, and if you blink, you'll miss the opportunity to stay ahead. Plus, here's a little bit of a bonus for you. Stay with us until the end, and I'll hook you up with an exclusive access to our free ebook packed with altcoin secrets that could help you spot the next 10x gem. Plus, we will be heading over to X to find out all the breaking news that's happening in the financial world today. We will be heading over to TradingView to take a look at XRP on the daily and weekly charts. We'll take a look at our short-term momentum, long-term momentum. Where's our next support and our next resistance for XRP? We'll also be checking in on Bitcoin and see what is going on. Is this a fake out or an actual breakout? And check the short-term, long-term momentum waves for that as well. We will also be heading over to CoinGlass to check out XRP's inflow, outflow, and so much more in today's video. So if you're like most people where you don't have the opportunity to spend hours a day like we do here for you every single day on this channel, make sure you subscribe so that way you don't miss out on any updates. And if you're feeling bullish about this current bull run, let me know by commenting 777 down below. But first, let's head over to CoinMarketCap and check out the overall health of the crypto market today. We are currently trading at $2.74 trillion total market cap, which is up 2.73%. And what we're really looking for is for Bitcoin and all the altcoins combined total market cap to surpass $2.8 trillion. If we take a look here on April 2nd, 2.78 trillion is the most recent high for the markets. And we're really looking for that market structure shift. Breaking above $2.8 trillion would give us a new higher high on the short time frame. And then we zoom out to the 1 year time frame. Here we can see that we need to break 2.87 trillion. That is why we've been talking a lot about total market cap needing to get back above $3 trillion to really feel like bullish momentum is back. But for the short term, we are getting close to a new higher high, which will be very nice at $2.8 trillion. Volume in the last 24 hours, only 79 billion. Fear and greed index still sitting in the fear levels here at 34. Yesterday was a 33. Last week was a 29. Altcoin season index 16 out of 100. So it is not altcoin season. It is still full on orange Bitcoin season. And we can see that here with Bitcoin dominance now surging up to 63.4%, which is up 2.85%. It has been a very sporadic week for the ETFs market due to all of the holiday season. Happy Easter for everyone out there. The last report we had was last week on April 16th, came in at a positive $106 million inflow to the upside. With the Bitcoin volume we're seeing in the markets today, it could be an indicator that this week we will have massive net inflows for the ETFs. We'll keep a very close eye on that. And here's a look at the week ahead of what you should be paying attention to in the financial markets. Major news coming out on Wednesday, April 23rd, the manufacturing PMI. We will also be getting the services PMI. And then the most important news of this week is going to be on Thursday, coming out with the unemployment claims. Subscribe today and make sure you stay updated on all of the important news that we cover here. Top 5 trending coins according to CoinMarketCap today. Number 1 is Bitcoin. Number 2, Ethereum. Number 3, XRP. Number 4, Solana. And number 5, Dogecoin. Top 5 cryptos by total market cap. Bitcoin getting back above 1.7 trillion again. It's been quite some time. Number 2 coming in, Ethereum, 192 billion. Tether at number 3, 144 billion. XRP at number 4 at 122 billion. BNB Binance at number 5 at 84 billion. And then we'll cover Solana here, 70 billion for Solana at number 6. Heading over to X to find out what's happening right now. As you saw in the intro, Scott Bessent said, Chair Powell and I have breakfast every week. We discuss a wide range of things, and we're a long way away from the break the glass situation. But that was just a couple of days ago, because now we have Donald Trump coming out today and saying preemptive cuts in interest rates are being called by for many. With energy costs way down, food prices, including Biden's egg disaster, substantially lower, and most other things trending down, there's virtually no inflation. With these costs trending so nicely downward, just what I predicted they would do, there can almost be no inflation. But there can be slowing of the economy unless Mr. Too Late, a major loser, lowers interest rates now. Europe has already lowered 7 times. Powell has always been too late. Powell has always been too late, except for when it came to the election period where he lowered in order to help sleepy Joe Biden and later Kamala get elected. How did that work out? So as I've been telling you guys, there is a financial civil war is what I'm calling it right now. The United States president against the Federal Reserve, which is a privately owned bank, are at odds on how the economy should be running. Trump coming out with some very valid points when he talks about all of this information. The interest rates are definitely slowing the economy. It is definitely hurting people in many sectors of our economy, such as buying houses, getting loans for their business, and so many more things. So we'll continue to follow this drama as it unfolds. So like I said, last week, Scott Bessent came out and said that we are not at a break the glass situation, but Trump obviously now this week thinks completely otherwise. And I thought this post was also very relevant here by Jesse Cohen. He says here, Fed cut 50 basis points in September when stock market was at record high. Atlanta Fed was forecasting a 3% US GDP growth. Fed now determined not to cut rates after 20% market plunge. Atlanta Fed forecasting a minus 3% GDP per Bank of America. It's not hard to see why Trump wants Powell out. And obviously, as we follow the crypto markets, you just remember very shortly after September, November, right? So September, October, November, just 2 short months after the Fed did cut these interest rates, crypto mooned to all-time highs. So if you're a crypto fanatic out there, you should definitely want the interest rates to come down. If you ever want to get really low interest rates to buy a house again, you definitely want interest rates to come down. And then getting back over to Ripple and XRP, saw this post right here by XAIF. Throwback to Ripple's first commercial video in 2014. This will make you go, wow. And fun fact, XRP was 0.004 cents, not even a penny at the time, and Bitcoin was $500.
The world makes 500 billion electronic payments every year that take 36 trillion hours to process and cost people tens of billions in fees. Money uses old, inefficient technologies that are slow and expensive and run on disconnected networks. The internet has made the world a flatter, more connected place, but payments have not kept up. It's time for money to evolve. Introducing Ripple, a new global payment network that does for money what the internet did for information. With Ripple, payments are as easy as email. You can send currency of any kind to anyone in the world in seconds for next to nothing. It creates new businesses, helps existing businesses grow, supports powerful applications, gives people control of their money, and makes the global economy accessible to billions of people without access to banks and financial institutions. The future of money is going to be a smarter, faster, more efficient, and prosperous place for everyone. Come join the growing Ripple community and help build the network that that will transform the way the world does business.
So back in 2014, what a great commercial. Interesting to see the nostalgia versus where they are now. Jumping over to CoinGlass, let's take a look at what is going on. We have XRP spot data analysis. This is the heat map volume. In the last 7 days, we are still red, right? Because we had some down days. But if we take a look in the last hour, tons of inflows. We take a look at the last 4 hours, 12 hours. Only Binance is having a sell-off right now. 24 hours. In the last 24 hours, we've been having a huge surge to the inside of the XRP ecosystem. So this is volume, which you want to see a huge surge in for sure on the exchanges. Over here is the net inflow, where people are sending money in or taking money out of the exchanges. In the last 7 days, we are looking at red. That is actually a very positive thing. That means people are buying XRP and then they're taking it off exchanges and holding it into their wallets. As we take a look at the spot inflow outflow, what we want to see is lots of red. That is people taking the actual coins off of exchanges. And as you can see, it has been doing a phenomenal job. Interestingly enough, right before the major pump to the all-time highs, we had a huge surge of XRP into the market. These were people knowing something was coming and they were ready to take profits. The week of November 24th, 2024, there was a net inflow of $254 million. As things were heating up, though, people started to take them off exchanges. And as of right now, the week of April 20th, we are net outflowing as well. $12 million people are taking off of exchanges. So going along with that, we jump over to CryptoQuant and we look at the XRP ledger data here on Binance, obviously one of the world's largest exchanges. They have had pretty steady exchange reserve, which you can see here in the blue line. It continues to be level across this time. They currently are holding 2.8 billion XRP that they can sell. But when we check another exchange such as KuCoin or OKX, look at OKX has dropped pretty much off. They're essentially out of XRP to sell. And then like I was saying, KuCoin, another major exchange, they have been losing all of their XRP to people buying it, removing it from exchanges. They only have 63 million in reserve. We take a look at BitHum here. They had a huge sell-off right before the massive pump, but over time, they actually bought up a bunch more XRP and they've continued to hold on to it. They currently have 1.5 billion. So it's interesting to see where some of these exchanges are trying to hoard as much XRP, the larger ones, of course, and some of the smaller ones, they're just continuing to sell it off and they have very little reserves. And interestingly enough, if we switch over to the Bitcoin network and we look at the exchange reserves under all exchanges, currently they are also at new lows. Currently on exchanges, their exchange reserve, all exchanges combined, $2.4 billion only left as far as reserves go for major exchanges. And we can jump over to Ethereum and check the same thing. Ethereum exchange reserves on all exchanges, you can currently see they're really, really low as well on Ethereum. As of this update from March 21st, 2025, only 19.1 million Ethereum coins left on exchanges. So what is going on with XRP? The XRP funding rate is surging amid the crypto market sell-off, which happened all of last week. This week, obviously, we're getting a little pump in the markets, which is nice. Amid the current uncertainty in the market, XRP stands out with a surprising twist. Its funding rate is currently positive, according to CoinGlass, which is potentially a bullish undertone. A positive funding rate signals that traders are generally optimistic about the future price of the underlying asset, which drives up demand for long positions. In this scenario, long positions buying contracts for XRP are more prevalent and the contract price is higher than the spot price of the underlying asset. This means traders with long holdings pay a fee to those with short positions. According to CoinGlass data, the funding rate for XRP pair on Binance was 0.0031% at the time of writing, and XRP was down 1.25% in the last 24 hours at the writing of this article when it was at $2.06. Is there a huge move ahead of us? XRP is showing signs that a major move might be on the horizon. After falling to a low of $2.03 on April 16th, XRP consolidated and the range tightened over the last few days. XRP has been consolidating between $2.03 and $2.12, with traders looking to see where the price will go next. If the tighter consolidation continues, it may result in a major move, either to the upside or downside. Volume has dropped by 19% in the last 24 hours to 1.39 billion. a normal occurrence before breakout volatility resumes. Bears have failed to push XRP below the $2 support, indicating a lack of selling pressure at lower levels. And as you know, XRP holders, they're extracting actual coins off the exchanges because they're diamond hands. So the bulls may attempt to initiate a comeback, which could hit the $2.23 range, which also corresponds with our weekly spider line we've been talking about now for weeks. We'll get into that when we get to the charts. This is an important short-term level to monitor because a break above this might pave the path for additional upside gains. Alternatively, if we break down the support of $2, we also have that $1.90 support, which is there as well. It is a possibility XRP could come down to $1.72 or $1.61. And we will jump into those charts here in just a couple of minutes, so stick with me or fast forward and get to the XRP charts. But this is huge news. Charles Schwab targets April 2026 for the launch of spot Bitcoin trading services. So this will happen in the next 12 months. The CEO, Rick Wurster, indicated a potential launch in April of next year. Wurster highlighted a 400% surge in traffic to Schwab's crypto-related web pages as clear evidence of investor interest in digital assets. Our expectation is that with the changing regulatory environment, we are hopeful and likely to be able to launch direct spot crypto. And this is massive because Schwab manages over $10 trillion in assets and has 37 million clients. Right now, their users can trade Bitcoin ETFs and futures, but direct trading means that you'll be able to buy and sell Bitcoin and maybe even Ethereum right on their platform. You may be asking, well, why is this important to me? Well, Schwab's move signals crypto going mainstream. When a giant like this jumps in, it brings in millions of new investors, which could drive Bitcoin and other relative cryptos prices higher. And they've already seen a 400% spike in traffic, like I told you, with 70% of that coming from non-clients, showing huge public interest. Plus, this could pave the way for other big brokers to follow along, boosting the entire market. Analysts are bullish, with some saying Bitcoin could rally $100,000 or more by mid-2025, especially if regulations do clear up. The number of public companies with Bitcoin on their balance sheet also rose from 67 to 79, with 12 firms making their first Bitcoin purchases during the quarter. The adoption of Bitcoin has also found momentum in the states in the United States. According to data from Bitcoin Law, 74 Bitcoin reserve bills have been introduced across 26 states, with 41 currently active. And last week, Arizona's Strategic Digital Asset Reserve Bill, SB 1373, passed the House Committee of the Whole and now awaits one final vote before heading to Governor Katie Hobbs for approval. And speaking of companies buying Bitcoin, Michael Saylor's strategy bagged 6,556 Bitcoin for $555 million last week. And Saylor's strategy has acquired now 6,556 Bitcoin for $558 million, bringing their total holdings to 538,200 Bitcoin. The latest Bitcoin purchase was funded using proceeds from the common at-the-money and Stark at-the-money stock offerings, including the sale of 1,755,000 strategy shares for $547 million and 91,000 shares of Series A preferred stock for $7.8 million. Strategy has acquired 91,800 Bitcoin so far in 2025, accounting for 17% of its total Bitcoin holdings. And on top of that, Metaplanet tops 400 million Bitcoin holdings with their new purchase of $28 million. Metaplanet is now the world's 10th largest corporate Bitcoin holder and wants to acquire 21,000 Bitcoin by 2026. Simon Veridich, posting out on X, Metaplanet has acquired 330 Bitcoin for $28 million at 85,000 per Bitcoin and has achieved Bitcoin yield of 119% year to date for 2025. As of April 21st, 2025, we hold 4,855 Bitcoin acquired for $414 million at 85,386 per Bitcoin. And here is the list of the public companies that own Bitcoin: MicroStrategy, Marathon Digital Holdings, Riot Platforms, CleanSpark, Tesla, Hut 8 Corporation, Coinbase Global, Block, Galaxy Digital Holdings, Metaplanet, and Bitcoin Group SE. Despite tariff uncertainty limiting risk appetite among traditional and crypto investors in the short term, analysts are optimistic about Bitcoin's price trajectory for the next decade, obviously, and Bitcoin might surpass 1.8 million by 2035, driven by its growing recognition as a superior savings technology. set to rival or surpass gold's $21 trillion market cap. Joe Burnett, director of market research at Unchained, told Cointelegraph during a Chain Reaction live show on X. So it is interesting to see the whole financial reset, the great reset. Are we literally moving to digital technology for money? Is the dollar going away? Is all of the foreign exchange currencies going away? That is where things are moving. But is that a good thing? You know, the other scary part is if everything is digital, are we going into the social credit score? Are we going into a technocratic world? Are we merging with computers? I know it's a crazy rabbit hole, but things do start to merge in that direction. Taking a look at XRP on the daily chart, we've been in this really, really wild consolidation now for several days. Today would be the 6th day, just riding along the 10 exponential moving average. Now, the positive thing is we have broken above the 10 exponential moving average. We need to stay and maintain there. Just today, we did reject off of the 30 exponential moving average. So price got all the way up to $2.14 and rejecting from that level. And remember, as we were talking about, even in that article about XRP's upcoming moves, the $2.23 level is one of our long-term spider lines that comes to us from January 22nd of 2018 with the pivot point of the high of 2021 in April. And we actually surged up to that level just a couple of days ago on April 13th, rejecting off that exact spot. But it also coincides with the 50 exponential moving average. Now, our short-term momentum wave has maxed out to the upside. Let's see which shaft trend cycle we're on. So we're on the length of 10. We're on the fast length of 30. Let's actually check in with our really fast. So we got fast length of 10 and slow length of 30. That's a better indication. You can see we moved up there and we are trending as maxed out. So what will often happen at this level, price will come back down and reset. Short-term momentum, when it gets back to zero, then we can see a rise. And we could have some really bullish indication here if we just continue to consolidate sideways and no price action to the downside is very bullish. So even if we don't move up right now and just stay sideways while this short-term momentum resets to the downside, that's actually a very good thing, because last time we maxed out at 100 and it had to reset down to zero. That's when we came from $2.47 all the way down to these recent lows of $1.79, even with the spike down, which was the scary move to the $1.61. Our long-term momentum Wolfpack indicators still red. We broke down below the zero line, flashing red February 4th and been bearish ever since. We do want to break back above the upside for XRP. So what to look for right now with XRP on the daily charts? We need to maintain above this 10 exponential moving average of $2.08. When we do, our move up to the next level of resistance, $2.25 if you want to round up. If we fail to hold that, there is a likelihood we'll be coming back down to $1.91 where we do have extreme support. If we were to lose that, then we may be receding all the way down to this trend line, which over time, price and time would get us potentially into the $1.50 range, which does also coincide with a major area from the pump to the upside that we experienced in the end of November. But that's on the daily. When we take a look here on the weekly, these moves take a lot longer to happen, but we are still bullish, which is very positive on our long-term momentum on the weekly. And we have fully reset to zero on our short-term for the weekly. Last time we had fully reset to zero was all the way back here in June, had the push to the upside, but look what we were talking about here, just consolidating sideways until September it reset. It didn't even get all the way down to zero. It was at the 4 level where we saw the super surge, because we were in the green territory here. That's what we're looking for now. We need to have this recovery ASAP while we still remain bullish long-term. When we take a look at Bitcoin, we can see here on the weekly, we are still bullish in the green to the upside. And this is really positive news. If we can maintain this move to the upside, we're in a brand new candle right now, 6 days, 7 hours left when I'm recording this. But as we can see, we are starting to tick up on the weekly for the Bitcoin charts on our shaft trend cycle. This is very, very, very positive. As we can see last time, price got down to zero. It was July 8th. It made a move from 55 up to 70, had a reset again for a double check to the downside, creating a bullish divergence on this scenario here. And there was even a hidden bullish divergence in our Wolfpack indicator. And price action started making its move, and our shaft trend cycle moved to the upside. So we had green here and a huge surge in price. So right now we have green here and we have green starting here. This could obviously flip back if we have a poor week performance this week. But right now we are looking strong there. And dropping down to a smaller time frame, the daily, we can see we are now green on our Wolfpack indicator. We have not been above the 0 line for green since February 5th, and we were even on a downtrend there. So if we look back here where we topped out on this was January 24th. And if we look at price at that exact time, we had already hit our all-time high, and there were signs things were starting to reset to the downside. Shaft trend cycle needed to reset back to 0. We started coming down on our long-term momentum wave and stayed bearish ever since. But this is our first time breaking above the 0 line since then. Our short-term trend cycle, though, has maxed out, and that will most likely reset back to 0. So it would be nice to see a surge to the upside, creating a new higher high, breaking above these wicks from March 24th, 2025, creating a new body, and then sit here and consolidate for a couple of days so we can build strength, and this resets, and we make our move to the upside. So if you would like to use the Wolfpack indicator, my settings are fast length 10, slow length 30. And if you would like to use the shaft trend cycle, STC, the length is 10, fast length 10, and slow length 30. Now, since you made it here to the end, do not forget to go down in the description and click on the link down below and get our free ebook. Unlock $10 trillion worth of crypto secrets, altcoin secrets. All you got to do is click the orange button here, grab my free secrets now, and it is yours.